food apartheid was coined by Karen Washington out of Rising Root Farm out of New York. And basically it shows us that our system relegates certain people with food opulence and then certain people with little to no food at all. And that's happened over a process of what we call apartheid in America, which is things like redlining, slavery, white flight, things like that that have happened over the course of our history that have created food deserts, where certain grocery stores or most grocery stores won't go into certain neighborhoods because that neighborhood has been literally created as a majority Black neighborhood in poverty. So that's what we talk about when we say food apartheid. And then the other term to kind of keep in mind is food sovereignty, and that's what we're fighting for. And what food sovereignty does is it puts the power back in the hands of the people who are hungry or who have lived in neighborhoods like food deserts. So, for example, our Black farmers, like empowering our Black farmers, empowering our grassroots community workers and the working class, stuff like that.
Scared rabbit, they've got you boxed in. Old habit, you draw the curtain. Lonely only if they ever leave.
Hello, my name is Michael Zarick, and this is Third Space Indy. In 1989, a man named Ray Oldenburg wrote a book called The Great Good Place. In this book, he coined the term the third place. This is a place where people build community and sort of can exist in whatever way they come about. So the goal of this podcast is to talk to people like my guest today, who is building community right here in Indianapolis. Today, I'm joined by a very important leader and organizer right here in Indianapolis. Her name is Sierra Nuckols, and she is the founder of Community Food Box Project right here in Indianapolis. Community Food Box Project works to provide food to people in food deserts all over the city, and does that through what are effectively community-made boxes full of food. But I'll let Sierra take the time to explain that much more profoundly than I can. But first of all, hello Sierra, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. I actually got here a little early because I think when I do these early morning podcasts, I am like a little grouchy. So I like take time to show up early, drink a full cup of coffee, and like eat a pastry because we are behind Amelia's in Windsor Park right now. And I just like sat and was cold for like an hour outside. But then you came up and you're so kind. So yeah, I feel good. Great. So why don't you go ahead and tell the people about yourself and then about Community Food Box Project.
Yeah, so my name's Sierra. I'm from the Near East side of Indianapolis, so 10th and Sherman, between 10th and Rural 10th and Sherman area. And I grew up with a mom, had me at 15. So she struggled with food insecurity when she was young. And then I kind of grew up seeing my neighbors struggle with food insecurity, and my mom would help to feed them and stuff like that. So that really is kind of what sparked my passion for this from a young age. And so I founded Community Food Box Project in 2016, where we refurbish old newspaper boxes and turn them into little pantries for people to take food when they need. I originally partnered with the Little Free Pantry movement out of Arkansas. Jessica McClard is the founder of that.
I'm familiar with that, actually.
Yeah. So I messaged her on Facebook after going to South Africa. I learned about the anti-apartheid movement and met Desmond Tutu there. So that sort of really like catapulted the project. And when I came back, I'm like, what can I do, within that sector of like food insecurity, food apartheid, that would really make a change in the community. And that was kind of the first idea I had. So it was like the beginning of my journey into food justice. And so we put the first box in 2016 out at IPS School 56. And from there, people gained interest, and then I started putting boxes at other organizations.
How many boxes do you have right now?
86 right now, but yeah.
That's so many.
But we are doing a big food box build on the 22nd.
You are. Okay, before we started recording, I said something to you, which is that we planned to record this like a month and a half to 2 months ago. And then since then, we have gone through a government shutdown that was the longest in history.
Yes.
That has recently ended. We have gone, as a result of that long government shutdown, we experienced 3 weeks of missing SNAP benefit payments for people who are food insecure, as well as people who exist outside of that system who still need food, because that affects food pantries. And then when you're not on SNAP and you don't have access to food, you rely on food pantries, and those are stressed.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects there. All this to say, I couldn't tell the future, and neither could you. And the fact that all of that happened since we planned to even sit down together is absurd. Can you tell me a little bit more about your perspective on these recent events and sort of how it's affected your work?
Absolutely. So, ooh, what a question.
I know it's hard. It's
yeah, I think the events mostly goes to show how unpredictable our government and people in power can be. We often, especially people in poverty, rely on assistance to meet our needs because we live in food apartheid, which
Can you define that?
Food apartheid was coined by Karen Washington out of Rising Root Farm out of New York. And basically it shows us that our system relegates certain people with food opulence and then certain people with little to no food at all. And that's happened over a process of what we call apartheid in America, which is things like redlining, slavery, white flight, things like that have happened over the course of our history that have created food deserts. So like where certain grocery stores or most grocery stores won't go into certain neighborhoods because that neighborhood has been literally created as a majority black neighborhood, a neighborhood in poverty. So that's what we talk about when we say food apartheid. And then the other term to kind of keep in mind is food sovereignty, and that's what we're fighting for.
Yep.
And what food sovereignty does is it puts the power back in the hands of the people who are hungry or who have lived in neighborhoods like food deserts. So, for example, our black farmers, like empowering our black farmers, empowering our grassroots, community workers and the working class, stuff like that. So back to, I guess we can rewind. So back to the government shutdown, I think it kind of is a very jarring way for us to see what food apartheid really is, right? It's like, okay, these people can literally just snatch these resources out of our hands at any time. And I think I was just so excited and happy to see how many people came together, like small business owners, individuals, communities started to do food drives, and they started to come together to help feed our neighbors. So that was really awesome. But definitely really scary stuff, and I think that we don't know, when the next time this can happen is, or, it can happen at any time. So I think just being persistent about being educated about our food system, as well as continuing to do these food drives and helping put out food boxes is important, even throughout the end of the shutdown.
Yeah. I'm like I really appreciate the way you framed the community effort, because I'm such a cynic. Because to me, it's like, it's hard not to be, I think, in many cases, but when I see community businesses coming together to raise food for people, my immediate thought is, it is unfortunate that they are put in a position to even have to do that.
Very.
Like, it's obviously a very good thing that they are, but it's like, it's not their responsibility to feed these people in a lot of ways.
No,
And that's like the cynic in me, but you framing it as like, it's amazing that they did so is so true. Like, and that's something to keep in mind, and we should support those people for doing that. What is... Oh, actually, let me talk about the term food sovereignty, because Nick Selm, who I did like a quick episode with a couple weeks ago, at Flanner Farm brought this term up to me. So it was the first time I'd heard that actually from him. This idea of sovereignty, I'm going to focus in on that word, is about personal control over the food. And the way this is framed is through food apartheid, through a lack of food sovereignty, we have relinquished control. We have moved all of our food production to a few large farms.
Yes.
Our food providers like Kroger or large grocery brands are the ones that control the pricing and the sourcing and all of those things, rather than that being within the realm of individuals or small communities. And this idea is really interesting to me about retaking control in a lot of ways and putting it in the hands of the people, as you say. What does that look like in your mind's eye?
I love this question, and you did a wonderful job articulating it, what food sovereignty is. So, and I've done a lot of work in food policy, like localized food policy, and seen a lot of the gatekeeping that occurs and how much money and resources go to like corporate nonprofits. And while that helps temporarily, or it can kind of provide aid and relief, it does not address the issue of like food apartheid or move us toward food sovereignty. So my biggest thing that I've, came to conclusion about with this over the years of like talking to local farmers and doing this work is that we need to see more localized small food hubs. So like, for example, Flanner Farms does a good job of, growing for their community. They sell at a local church, they sell at Cleo's and different small, places. So what we've kind of looked at is, can we create, instead of having one large scale place like a Kroger or some corporate place that all the food goes to distribute, can we have small hubs, whether it be at churches or commercial kitchens or different places that farmers can aggregate the produce, sell it, or make value-added products. And what that is essentially like if a farmer wants to make a canned good or something like that to put into market. So that, I think, would put the local control back into play there of like, okay, we have this place that's near our farm. We're serving our local community. We're not necessarily traveling over to the west side if we're over here on the east side, and we're serving the people. It also kind of creates a way to educate the community about, hey, there's this place you can go to like learn how to cook or like get recipes or information that you need. And you can also get your produce, you can also get your products you need, things like that. So that's one solution that I've really talked to a lot of people about.
I'm hyperfixating on this cat cleaning itself over there. Do
Oh.
you see it? It's behind the guy. I think that cat's name is like Butternut Squash or something.
Oh my gosh.
It's like the neighborhood cat. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm absorbing the energy of my wife. She's like slowly rubbing off on me, and now every time I see a cat, I freeze.
Oh yeah. Aw. Do you have cats?
We do have a cat. Her name is Mommy Cat. She's spoiled and rotten.
It's so cute.
I kind of want to talk more about like the negative stuff. That's gonna sound like. Can you tell me like what are the how often are you interfacing with people who are dealing with food insecurity? Interfacing meaning just interacting at any level, talking, hanging out, or just seeing any of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. So I have some people I mentor that I used to run the feed program like Nick does now, Nick Stone, and I have some students that I still keep in contact with that I mentor them about jobs or housing, things like that. And they deal with it really bad. I mean, and I don't like tell people this a lot, but I often drive food to them from Food Box Project. Like I'll actually do deliveries with my car and stuff. I even have a few friends right now that are dealing with it, which is kind of crazy. Because that just shows you how in your face it is. But, you know, and then with the food boxes, when we fill them, we often come across people that utilize the boxes and they'll say like, thank you, or they'll, I've had people help us fill it. You know, they'll go to our car and be like, hey, let me help you, you know, fill it, and then they'll take stuff. So it's quite often, and it's more people than you know, because, you know, there's folks that make the mark for SNAP, but then there's the folks that make a little bit too much for SNAP, and they also need help because after rent and bills and all these things, they often don't have enough for food.
Yeah, that idea of means testing, is that a term you use ever? It's sort of this idea that when we offer help to people, we have to make sure that they are the right person that needs help.
Yeah.
So we're testing, quote unquote, their means.
Oh,
their
that's,
means.
yeah.
So like,
see, and that's something we're against because, and we love our pantries, no offense to the pantries, but a lot of times pantries have a lot of stipulations about that. Like you have to have you have to make a certain amount, or, not all of them are like that, but some are. So yeah, it's definitely.
do you know Jake?
No.
That's Jake Butler, who runs Tomorrow Bookstore.
Oh, cool.
Hi, Jake.
Oh, yeah.
What do you can come say hi.
I'm looking in the sun, but I'm gauging if I can come and crash the party.
You can.
Yeah.
We're talking about food insecurity, SNAP benefits, the government shutdown. That
the
cat
next
over
2
there.
weeks. What should everyone do?
Oh, really? I don't think it would come through the microphones very much. So I just had Jake Butler, who is a co-owner. Do you co-own?
Yeah.
Okay, co-owner of Tomorrow Bookstore, walk up, and I said, what should I ask Sierra? And he said, in the next 2 weeks, what can we do to help you? Sorry to interrupt.
In the next 2 weeks, I would say, number one, continue donating to food boxes. It always helps. Number two, find your local farmer, urban farmer, and go buy produce from them. Go support them, get to know their name, ask if you can volunteer, get involved. That's some immediate things I think all of us can do.
So thank you for answering his question. It sort of leads directly into, we can go back to talk about pantries in a second, but I had a question about like farmers markets. Because Indianapolis has some great farmers markets, in my opinion. When you're saying like support local farmers, are you talking about the people who go to farmers markets, or are you talking about people outside of that system?
That's a really, really great question. Farmers markets are great to start, to just kind of dip your toes in to see what that looks like, of like, how do I support a farmer? How do I buy from a farmer? But I think researching and looking for the ones that are kind of outside of that system is important too. And there's a couple of groups I'll name right now. I used to be the president of Community Food Access Coalition, and then there's this new group called Indie Food Connection. And some of the work that they're doing is trying to create digital ways to find these farmers. Like, hey, here's a map of like all the local BIPOC farmers that you may not know about. So be on the lookout for that, because those resources should be coming out soon. But kind of looking out for like places like Elephant Gardens, Soul Food Project, Mother Love's Garden. These are all, Garcia's Garden, he's sometimes at farmers markets, but these are all like BIPOC owned farms that they also do programming for children to teach them how to grow produce. And so they're doing more community based work, and they're not just doing the straight up, we grow food and we sell it. This is like, they're trying to do some more of that.
They're working towards the idea of food sovereignty.
Yes,
To be more specific. Also for my mom, I don't know, my mom knows, it doesn't know, so I just always have to add definitions. BIPOC means Black and Indigenous people of color, just to throw that definition out there. I try to be mindful of definitions and things.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, back to food pantries, 'cause I think we stopped right in the middle of that. Talking about like filling those gaps talking about avoiding means testing people, like, why are programs like yours and, what's the other one? It's Indie Community Pantry. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the big fridge one, right? She
Yes,
does
the
fridges.
fridges.
Her fridges are cool. She gets like local artists to paint.
Yes.
Can you talk more about like why someone might donate to you versus a pantry to work towards filling those gaps that maybe pantries don't fill?
Absolutely. I think we all have a part to play, and Community Food Box Project is what you would call a mutual aid organization. So we are a 501c3, but we purposefully don't take large-scale funding.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because funding is often competitive, and it plays into the nonprofit industrial complex.
Yeah, especially here in Indianapolis, there's like a weird, I can't explain it.
Yes, it's really interesting. Like, and that's not to say we haven't tried, but through trying have realized how difficult it is and how much you have to sort of succumb to that system in order to run your nonprofit in that way. So I think the reason why mutual aid is so important is that we are community organizing with no attachment to that system of power. So that means we are giving food directly with no stipulations, no questions asked. Anybody can come take it whenever they need. And anybody can also donate whenever they need. So I think that is why we continue to do things the way we do them. And I would say, I don't know, I haven't talked to the founder of Indie Community Pantry, but I would say she'd probably say the same thing, so.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna get on my high horse here for a second, because I've been thinking about this for like months, about charity and the way it works, especially in Indianapolis, but in a lot of places. We moved from Northwest Arkansas, where the Walton family is and Walmart is like based. And, I think people give a lot of credit to these like large businesses and large community foundations that are donating a lot of money. They're like, oh my God, they give so much money to whatever charity or whatever. And we went to this, my wife and I went to this charity, like their giant annual fundraiser. I won't say which one because I don't want to put anyone on blast in this way, but
Okay.
because I think the work they're doing is really important. Actually, charity work is very important, but always, by my perception, charity is a failure of the state or like the systems that we live under in a lot of ways. So when I go to these large fundraising organizations and I see them like thanking their corporate sponsors and like basically, I'm gonna call it groveling. They are groveling for money from these large corporate sponsors that at the same time they are helping support these charities that do good work, and the people within those charities that do good work, the corporations that give those dollars are the same ones that create the systems that require those charity dollars to be useful to those charities, if that makes sense. So I've been thinking about that for months. I just like, and like going to these large like fundraisers always makes me feel a little gross. And I don't know, that's what I think of. So like when I look at people like you doing the work you do, frankly, doing the opposite, you're asking kindly, you're saying, which again, they're also asking kindly in their own way. So I don't mean to demean any specific charity's work, because again, it's important. But you are community supported, community funded, and doing work within the community you work in, if that makes sense. And I really appreciate that.
You said that so beautifully, like the way you articulated that.
I think a lot about this.
Me too. And you know what? Like, I've been creating a local food system power map that explains exactly what you just said. And back to feeling like a little bit discouraged. You do see this, and I think like, even on a local level, it's like, sometimes, yes, you do see the charities that are doing great work, and there is the positive aspect within that. But then when you start to break it down, you start to see that some of these corporate nonprofits are actually created by the very corporations that are funding them. So if you look at their founding boards or their founding members, it could be Walmart or Anthem Insurance or Lilly and Company or all these like major corporate people or corporations, major corporations. And, when they create these nonprofits, it's not always to really solve an issue. Sometimes it really is to move money around. And I saw this on a local level. I mean, we have an Indy Food Policy Commission here that is a board of 13 voting members from different areas of the food sector. And there, has been corporate nonprofits on this board who have made a lot of decisions about where money is being moved around without any community input. So you see this gatekeeping on a local level, and you do see corporate nonprofits that are influenced by this system that we're talking about, making these decisions uninformed, and being very cocky about it. Like, oh, well, we got a study done by IUI, or we got this done. Well, you've had the money to do that, or you've had the corporate support to be able to do that. But when's the last time you sat down with a BIPOC farmer? Or when's the last time you went door to door or done this kind of work? So I get really frustrated about this topic too. And I think about it a lot because like you start to see how in your face it is. And you see, oh man, like this is something that's perpetuated. It's not, and it's normalized too. I mean, you go in these rooms, you go in these commission boards and people are silenced, or you go in these rooms and people are silenced and that seems normal. And then when people come in and start to say, we don't want to be silenced anymore, it becomes this, oh my gosh, they're so scary, they're so radical, or like they don't, which is so interesting to me because it's like, why do you not want community input?
And to the point of like Walmart, I feel comfortable talking about Walmart because, but Walmart and SNAP to the point, it's like, I don't know the exact statistic, but it is a sizable amount. I think it's between 40 and 60 somewhere of Walmart employees are on SNAP benefits.
Wow.
And it's like, you think that Walmart giving $1 million or dollars or however much money a year to a charity is gonna help pull people out of that system rather than them just increasing the wages of their employees.
That's a really good point.
There was a story, we moved from Arkansas, so that's why I had heard of the thing that you said you learned from.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, Walmart is like very much a force in Northwest Arkansas. That's where they're based and founded. And there was a story in like 2022 when we were there that's like, oh, Walmart donated $1 million to this LGBTQ charity. It's so glorious. Like, that's a lot of money. It's like, well, Walmart employs probably 1 million queer people. If you changed your internal policy, you increased their pay, you are probably doing far more good than whatever that $1 million goes towards.
Exactly.
So I think about that. That's all within the same realm of thinking.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
That's where you start to see a lot of times it's for a write-off or to promote or uplift their name that they're doing something good. But like you said, if they just increase their wages, that would be even better for, yeah.
What are the parts of Indianapolis that you are working the most within? Obviously, it's like food deserts, but like geographically, like what are the most like places that you're going?
So our food boxes, most of them exist on the near east side and the near west side, very close to downtown. Westminster Food Pantry, they sponsored 9 boxes over on in this area, so on the near east side. And then we did a huge build in 2017 of like wooden boxes, so we have a lot of those around the near west as well. So we're trying to get more on the near south. We don't have a lot, like in the Fountain Square area. I don't know if that's because we just haven't reached the businesses and community down there as much. I've done a lot of work on East and West Side, so I think that's probably why I know a lot more people in those areas.
Definitely. And there's other people filling the gaps that you can't. But you said
Yes.
you're living from the Near East Side.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. So it makes
down
sense
the
that
street.
you would operate over here too.
Yes.
Like I said, community effort within the community that you live in. So
Yes.
I'm gonna wait for the train. So you said you have a garden.
Yes, we have a garden we started this year in Hallville. It's called Worman Street Garden. We partnered with IDOC Watch,
Yeah.
which is another grassroots org. And then
What does the IDOC stand for? I've seen.
Indiana Department of Corrections.
That's right.
So they do a lot of like making sure prisoners are safe, talking to prisoners about their experiences within prison and making sure that they're, not being abused and things like that. And then Focus Families, they're another grassroots org. I don't know what Focus stands for, but they do reentry work, grassroots. So when people are coming out of prison, helping with like case management or looking for jobs and things like that. So they have a house in Hallville, and we
Like a halfway house almost, or
yeah.
Okay.
And then they were already gardening on it, but they asked Cultivate and Community Food Box Project to come in to help, with the land. And we were able to partner with 8 farmers from Central Africa, and they tilled it up, and they're utilizing the land to grow for their families and for different things that they do. But the agreement is that they're able to like teach folks in the community how they're growing it, and then how to cook it and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. It's like a cross-cultural way to get more people exposed to different ways to grow food.
Cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Third Space Indy is sponsored by. What is Third Space Indy sponsored? Oh, it's right here. Third Space Indy is sponsored by City Rising at cityrising.org. Mark Lotta is decided to sponsor the podcast. Oh, and there's Cliff Marsiglia.
What's up?
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
You're the second person to interrupt the podcast. Well, I guess I interrupted it. We're recording.
Oh. Did I notice that?
What's going on?
Hello there.
Oh, I'm keep-
It's me,
I'm-
Cliff.
I'm keeping that in.
Oh, yeah.
Have you met Sierra before?
Yeah, hi, I'm Cliff.
Hi, I'm
It's,
Sierra.
Familiar.
Yeah,
Indie
my mom
or
is
community
Gail
food-
Cosby.
community-
I feel like
Oh, were you at the DSA meeting?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Your mom is Gail Cosby?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, we gotta talk about that. What the
Yeah. We should have had Gail Cosby right here and just like
You just dropped some crazy info on me.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
my
were you
mom.
at the meeting last night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I should have been there.
Were
but
you?
I-
Oh,
no.
okay. She was,
definitely
yeah,
fair.
moderating the panel.
I would have said hello if I was, so.
Yeah. That was a great turnout.
Oh, I was talking about the sponsorship.
Okay.
City Rising is a social impact studio that leads and supports innovative projects that strengthen, celebrate, and repair people and places. So if you're a people or a leader of an organization or anything else, and you're interested in strengthening your community, improving your lived environment, or anything like that, reach out to me or go to cityrising.org for more information, and I'll get you connected to Mark. But anyways, Mark has sponsored a question,
Okay.
which is, what is a third space to you?
Ooh.
Do you know what third space is? Oh, cat.
Yes. It's so cute. Cute kitty. Well, I'll try to explain it. Maybe you can help me out. I think
that's
as
okay.
third space is a place, a public place that you can go that you don't necessarily have to pay for something to sit there or to study or do whatever you do, right? Have a meeting. I think of things like libraries and parks and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's more like a personal answer.
Okay.
Like whatever you feel in your heart is the right thing.
Okay.
Do you have like any like specific third spaces that stand out in your life?
Yes, I would say the garden. is a third space for me.
The one in Hawville?
Yeah. That's kind of where I go, where I feel at peace, and I can like water the plants or even just sit there. I really like, I mean, any garden. I like gardens that have benches and like seating areas too,
Yeah.
where you can be outside.
Definitely.
That's what makes me feel at peace.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Next question, very related. What is a third space or place that has existed for you in the past that no longer exists or you no longer visit?
Let me think on that for a second. Well, probably bars, even though that
No,
you
you're
have
right.
to pay to be there, but
Actually, I'm glad you said that because by definition, you like payment pays no factor.
that has no effect.
Yeah.
Okay,
By
cool.
like book
So
definition.
that means just a place that outside of work and home,
Yeah.
basically. Okay, so definitely bars for me because I'm 2 years sober, which is awesome. Yay.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. So I definitely used to frequent the bars, and that was my third space where I went to kind of relax and unwind. And no offense to the bars, people that go to bars, that's awesome. But yeah, just not for me anymore.
Was this like a local thing?
Yeah.
Did you have like a frequent spot?
Well, I used to work at the Chatterbox, so I would go there all the time.
The Chatterbox comes up a lot.
Yeah.
I've never been in there.
Yeah. It's a good place, but also a wild place. So so I would go there a lot, even outside of work, and hang out. Jazz Kitchen, I still go there to dance. So
I still haven't been there, and we are planning to in a couple weeks. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
You
I'm
should
excited.
yeah, you'll like it. It's pretty cool.
We're going to see. Do you know who Richard? Well, I shouldn't call him Richard. His name is Sleepy.
Oh,
He's like a
yeah.
local drummer.
Sleepy's awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to see him.
That's gonna be fun.
Well, thank you for sharing, and I appreciate. Shout out to you for being strong and being sober. That's hard.
Thank you.
For
For sure.
So every episode, I have the previous guest ask the next guest a question.
Okay.
So yesterday, I recorded the podcast at Alley Cat Ceramics with Alexa and Alyssa, who runs the Groovy Greenhouse studio next door, and they asked you together. I was like, oh, you could ask 2 questions, but they were like, oh, I'm asking the same question. So they asked, what is the most recent thing that you've done or tried that put you out of your comfort zone?
I like that question.
Yeah.
I gotta think about that one. Weirdly, the thing that comes to my mind is at work. I work at Tinker Street, which is
Like
this
the
awesome
restaurant?
Yeah, on 16th in New Jersey. And at work, we had like a one-on-one, and that put me outside of my comfort zone because I'm always afraid of like reviews and stuff. But I end up like, it was awesome. And like my bosses were super supportive, and then I like advocated for myself. And I tend to be a people pleaser, so I kind of struggle with saying like, hey, I would like it if you guys did this, or I would, and I tried really hard to do that, to say exactly how I feel and like what my needs are. And I think that was outside of my comfort zone, but definitely a moment of growth for me. So
Yeah.
that's what comes to mind.
Yeah. I hate to call out who your bosses are, but was it Jordan and Tyler?
Yeah, Jordan and Sarah. So.
Oh, Sarah. Okay. Chef
Yeah.
Jordan, right? Or Chef.
Chef Tyler.
Chef
yeah.
Tyler.
He wasn't in the review, so he'd
okay.
probably just be goofy the whole time. So
I was actually with. That is why I missed the DSA meeting actually, because I was
really?
Patrick Armstrong does like live podcast recording, and Tyler and Jordan are always there providing food.
yeah,
So it's like I'm there eating Tinker Street food.
that's awesome.
I'm
it's
very-
such a small city. Like,
Very familiar with those 2 gentlemen, and they're both
Yes.
wonderful.
yes, they are.
And also Tinker Street's in it. What do you do there?
I'm a server.
You're a server?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've been once, which was wonderful, and I do plan on going back. And I'm sure you're great at your job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I try. I'm newer, but I like it there because they support the Food Box Project a lot. Like,
Oh, I was going to ask. I'm really happy you said that because the business seems like a business that would do that. They're really interested in, at least by my perception, in like supporting the community. They're, like I said, Jordan and Tyler, who's the head chef, are always out in the community, like doing, like every time I'm at an event, they just happen to be there. That's why I know them so well.
Right.
Because I just encounter them so regularly. So
yeah, shouts out to them for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Was your review good? Are you able to share?
Yes.
Okay.
It was good. Everybody, I have my job still. Yeah.
How long have you been there?
Only since August. So a couple months.
So actually, do you mind talking about like being a server at all? Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the things I really attach to, and you're the first-ish, I mean, if we discount Nick Selm, you're the first person, at the very core of the idea of this podcast is like this idea of community building and community existence. And to me, like food is so core to the human experience. Obviously, we all eat.
Yes.
If you don't eat, you literally roll over.
Yes.
And like also at the core of every like amazing neighborhood or like strong neighborhood, I think is like a good place to eat. And I think Tinker Street represents that well for the near north side. There's places up in Broad Ripple where I live that they're like core to the experience. And I think we also like really discount the role that people like yourself who are servers at those restaurants, that those people like play into what makes a restaurant truly great. Can you share like what about Tinker Street, other than maybe like their support for Community Food Box Project, like draws you in, or if you enjoy working there, or what about the people you like or anything like that?
For sure, yeah. I really like Tinker Street. They encouraged me to be myself with serving, and that's one of the things we talked about was I'm not the most like prim and proper person, especially when it comes like fine dining, but I do try to connect with the customers, and I really like to like kind of learn about them and like where are you from, or what brings you here, where, you know, what kind of flavor palettes do you like? What do you like to eat? You know, stuff like that. So that's kind of how I approach it. And then I just enjoy the people aspect of it. I'm kind of a people person, so I like talking to folks, getting to know folks. But I do believe that every part of the restaurant helps to build that community, back of house too, as well as the servers. So yeah, and you said Broad Ripple in restaurants, and I had to shout out Sierra. That's my favorite restaurant.
Oh, really?
In the whole world.
Like,
yeah.
Is that?
It's on
That's
Broad
Muhammad?
Ripple Avenue. Yes, Muhammad.
I walked in for the very first time, and he goes, "Salam alaikum," and I was like, I don't know how to respond.
Yeah, walaikum salam.
Like, I'm so stupid. When he goes, "My name's Muhammad," and he talked, I don't remember what his employee's name is, but they were both so friendly.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh,
probably his son.
oh, that's probably it. Yeah, I was like, I'm half Lebanese, and I felt like he like lit up at that, and he like hooked me up.
Yes,
like,
he does.
go.
He does not play. Like and he always like gives people free tea and free desserts and talk about community.
Yeah.
Like he's feeding the people for sure. And like there's been times I've came in and he's just fed me, like, you know, and I'm like, dude, let me pay for it. And he's like, so.
And I feel bad, like, I feel like that I never see a ton of people in there. He must do a lot of like to-go orders or something.
I think so, catering and stuff.
But like, I always get like really good vibes in there. I don't know, he's like a really kind guy. And shout out to Sahara on Broad Ripple Avenue. Give that man your money.
Yes, please.
Maybe I'll go later. Thank you for sharing about Tinker Street. I love hearing that, especially from like I used to work at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
My mom actually like works at their corporate office, and high key got me a job when I was in Bloomington. So I worked at the Bloomington Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
And I had some of the best and worst nights of my life
Yes.
at that restaurant.
Yeah, the industry is no joke, and I think like back to Tinker Street, they've worked really hard to make it a healthy environment, but being a server is not easy, especially in certain restaurants. Like, I've worked at places where I'm like, I would never go back there. And we do a tip share too, which is really nice.
That's good.
'Cause
One time I served a 12 or 13 person table, got a 0.
that's terrible.
And that like totally ruined my night. I was like crying
I would too.
to like my
That's
managers, and they're like,
horrible.
"It's gonna be okay." I was like, "It's not gonna be okay. I
Like,
need
it's
money, bro."
not. Yeah, like, what do you mean?
Like, that would have been a fat thing if they tipped appropriately, but
Right.
anyways,
Man.
kind of it stuck with me clearly. So I always try to be kind to servers.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. So, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I think you touched on everything. I'm really happy we got to talk about not only just the food boxes themselves, but more so kind of the larger mission. Talking about policy, talking about, everything from farming to food apartheid. I think we touched on everything. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you. I mean, you did, you activated the conversation, but I was like thinking about you outside of that. So I appreciate you reaching out and asking to come on. And I'm happy we got to sit down this morning. It's a beautiful day.
Yes.
One last question before we wrap up. What question would you like to ask the next Third Space Indy guest?
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be about anything specific. You can do whatever
Okay.
you want.
When's the last time you felt loved by a community of people or a group of people?
That's a great question. I love that. Great. Thank you for coming on, Sierra Nuckols.
Yes.
I'm gonna start calling you Knuckles when we
Yay.
sit down. What's up, Knuckles?
I like it.
Can you tell the people where they can find you, how they can support Community Food Box Project, and anything along those lines?
Definitely. So follow us at Community Food Box Project on Instagram. Our website is www.communityfoodboxproject.org. And then you can DM us on Instagram to sign up for our email list. We do bi-weekly newsletters where we post about upcoming events, or we talk, we do little blurbs. It's kind of a short newsletter, so it's nice to receive that. And then every other Thursday, we have a volunteer meetup at our office on 609 East 29th Street at Broadway United Methodist Church. So please come out to that and support. We also have a food box build on the 22nd. So if you're interested in receiving a food box, reach out to us on Instagram as well. And then my email is communityfoodbox2016@gmail.com.
Is money or direct food donations better?
It depends on the person's capacity. So if you have labor to give your labor. If you have money to give your money. It really doesn't matter. Our donations go directly to either food buying or food purchasing or our rent payment for our office. So we definitely do need the donations, but we also welcome, folks to come and give their time.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing. And thank you so much for listening to this episode of Third Space Indy. You can find me at Third Space Indy on Instagram.com. Does anyone call it that? No.
Instagram.com.
Or you can go to thirdspaceindy.com, where I write a weekly blog that releases on Mondays in congruence with the episode of the week. You can give me your email and I'll send it to you. Wow. Thank you so much for cityrising.org for sponsoring the podcast, and Mark Lotta, shout out. And thank you so much to the local artist Jennison for sharing your song Scared Rabbit with me as the intro song. Thank you so much for listening again, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Thank you.